recorder is on. Let's see. I'm gonna upload the notes from yesterday at the same time.
Yesterday?
Yeah, my CISP 300 class.
Oh.
They'll need it for studying.
And I didn't get any book on the link Nathan shared with me.
What book?
You said you had.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's not there in the link. Oh no, for Google Drive.
Shell Shockers. Shell Shockers.
Usually don't say it out loud. I figure everyone just already knows.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a without saying.
Exactly. We acknowledge that.
That's number one. I'm looking for the book. I think it's called Shell Shockers Handbook. Nope. Okay, I have to find it because I don't know the name of it right now. Okay, so what we'll talk about today is cross-site scripting, which is a very interesting topic since we already talked about browsers in general, HTML documents, and how to understand the communication between a client and a server. So we'll go ahead and do this. I found that Wikipedia actually has an excellent explanation and also examples. So that's where we're going to go. Cross-site scripting. Now this one is really quite interesting, not only from the perspective of, oh, I want to know how to do hacking, but also, just understanding, how you can protect yourself from these type of, cross-site hacking. Or cross-site scripting hacks, because they are really quite interesting. All right, so we'll go straight to the examples. Let me just magnify this a little bit. There we go. Scroll down. All right, so here's an example. Okay, I'll just read it out loud. Alice often visits a particular website which is hosted by Bob. Bob's website allows Alice to log in with a username password pair and store sensitive data, such as billing information. When the user logs in, the browser keeps an authentication cookie, which looks like some garbage character. So both computers, the browser computer, the PC, and the server, remember that she is logged in. So let me just see if you guys remember what a cookie is from the previous or two presentations ago. Any questions about what a cookie is from the perspective of a browser? It's a tiny little file that is stored on the client side, which is on the PC. It is sent to you by a server, usually to indicate something, and in order to maintain the pretense of a session, the cookie has to be sent back to the server, so the server can say, oh, okay, you already got this cookie. That means you are blah, 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 okay? In other words, some cookies can identify who you are post-authentication. So let's go ahead and read this story because it will also talk about... Yeah.
It's saved on like a stack or...
No, it's a file. It's a tiny little file.
When we browse, where it come and saved.
Where?
Yes, like when we do you make a link with some website? So where when they send us cookie?
Okay, when you receive the reply from an HTTP request, the reply usually contains the document itself, but on top of that, it will also include an HTTP header, which is not HTML. Okay, that's not a part of the document, but the header would include, set cookie. Okay, it will literally say set-cookie, and to instruct your browser to say, okay, let's create a file, and this is the content, and it would also include extra information like expiration date and stuff like that.
Okay.
But it is basically stored on the client side that your browser has access to.
Gotcha.
Okay.
But we don't have any access to that.
Yeah, we do. You just go to the configuration here, go to preferences, and then you go to, it depends on the, I think it's under content. No. Privacy. Yep. you can go to, you can view your individual cookies. So these are the ones
Okay. Got
that I got from all over the place. So if you look, you can search for specific ones. Like Moodle will give you specific ones. So right here, there's a Moodle session cookie, which looks like this is the content of the cookie, and this is the name of the cookie. It identifies, it comes from which host, and then the path, where it is applicable. So when you see the path being a slash, it is barely visible from here. But when you see that slash, it means, the rest of the website, your browser will send this cookie back to the entire website. If the path is not a slash, it means only a part of the website should receive this cookie back. So, but this is all stored locally, which means you can go in and hack it all day long, okay? It's just that if you hack it, it may or may not work correctly. Okay? And it also says here at the end of a session, which means if I log out, if I terminate my browser, that would terminate the cookie itself. Okay, so getting back to, yep, question? Yeah.
Does the browser tell the server that the cookie is no longer needed, or it's just because it's off your computer, it no longer communicates to the server?
The browser will drop the cookie once it's expired.
So if someone
But the
have a
website will also,
snapshot
of your,
The website will try to too. The website
okay.
will work if it's done correctly.
assuming it's done correctly, the website will also
Done
iterate
correctly.
Yes.
It'll drop off its list of activities.
Which also means that if you are curious, you can always just maintain your own session cookie, make a copy of that, and once the session is over and the cookie is supposed to have disappeared, re-inject the cookie into the system and see if the server will recognize and go like, oh, you're still logged in, cool.
It does, unfortunately, it does.
Huh?
Unfortunately, at least with my baby, it does.
Okay.
I actually emailed them about that.
So
Told
you checked
them.
that already, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. How about D2L?
It works there too.
Okay.
Moodle, surprisingly, no. That one, it won't work.
Oh, that's because the security people working on Moodle are very passionate about keeping Moodle secure.
Well, Moodle is used more than D2L. It's actually deployed more. Okay, so here comes the hacker, Mallory. I guess Mel comes from malicious. So Mallory observed that Bob's website contains a reflected XSS or cross-site scripting vulnerability. When he visits the search page, input a search term in the search box, click the submit button. If no results are found, the page will display the term he's searching for, followed by the words not found, blah, 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 blah. So fairly typical stuff. Okay, you just click the search bar and it does something, and it tells you, okay, it's not found. Sure. And the URL looks like this. Okay, this is the URL on the on the address bar. Okay, so you can see that this question mark separates the website and the path to the script from the parameters to the script. So the right-hand side of this, which is q equals his, is basically the q is the name of the parameter, and then the value of the parameter is his, H-I-S in this case. Okay? So this is fairly typical stuff. You can expect most websites to do this. Not a big deal. With a normal search query, like the word puppies, the page simply displays puppy not found, and the URL is just like that. So the hacker is basically trying to figure out, okay, what can I do with the query? What can I do with the parameters? Okay. And then the hacker turns to something that is a little bit more interesting. So, so we have a. He basically tried to submit an URL that looks like this. Okay, with all the highlighting, you can't really see. So I'm gonna turn it off. So the first part is pretty much the same stuff. This part here is really the same stuff. This is still the same separator, and then we have q equals to basically all the same stuff. However, what he also put in is this part here. Okay, it reads script %20, okay, %20 by the way is the escaping of the space character. So it's equivalent to script space type equals to text slash JavaScript, which is basically telling the browser and say that what follows is JavaScript. And the JavaScript only has one little command, which is alert in parentheses, quote, end quote XSS, which doesn't do anything bad. All it does is to pop a little box and say, hey, XSS. That's all it says. Okay? But this is JavaScript, which is running on the browser. This is client-side code. Okay? So after this, most websites would just ignore that, because most websites will recognize and hey, if there's there are HTML elements in the query, toss all of that stuff away or escape everything, so they wouldn't actually be useful in any way. Okay? So the connection of this stuff has to do with whatever is not found is displayed as a part of the HTML. So the hacker figure out, okay, there is a pattern to it. Okay, if I try to search for something, if that something is not found, then it will return a page with that thing and then not found appended to that thing. Okay, so when you're looking for puppies, okay, puppies is just a word and then not found, no big deal. Okay. On the other hand, if you have anything that is like this, okay, this part here, which is script type equals something blah blah blah. If the server is just reflecting everything back to the browser, then the browser will receive exactly that code as a part of the HTML document. And the browser will do the right thing and say, oh, here comes the script, I'm going to run that script. Not suspecting anything, right? And that's why, in this case, that's why the cross-site scripting works. Is because the server, this is the server's fault of not checking what is being searched, and will just go ahead and display, oh, that is not found. But in this case, it's basically saying the script blah 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 is not found, which doesn't actually display anything because that element is not visible. Are there any questions about this part here? About the process of how the hacker finds out there's a problem with this website? With the server, this is a server-side issue. So with that confirmation, Mallory proceeds to craft a URL to exploit the vulnerability. And this is the query that he comes up with. So let's check this out. Yep. So what he did is he put out a custom query, and the custom query includes puppies, which is the usual stuff. Okay. And then it has this script here, so the script start here and it ends here. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of code. But what it says here is source equals to blah blah blah, which is the same thing as pound include in JavaScript. So with a single pound include, he's bringing in his own script from his own website, which can be anything. So this stuff is not even stored on Bob's site. This is stored elsewhere. Are we doing okay so far with this? Okay. And to make sure that this works 100%, what he did was to get rid of the open angle bracket, replace it with the ASCII code or the hexadecimal version of that ASCII code, and so on. So this way human readers cannot immediately decipher the malicious code. And then what he did is he sent an email to some unsuspecting members of Bob's site and say, check out some cute puppies, with a link like this. And what do you think is going to happen? Somebody is going to click on it because it says puppies, right? Yeah.
Those cats.
Alright, so the story continues with Alice getting the email. She loves puppies and clicks on the link. It goes to Bob's website to search, didn't find anything, and then it displays puppy not found. But remember, we have the script stuff that is not displayed, but it does run on the browser. So the script that says, okay, there's a script here and the source is over at Mallory's website. it will load that JavaScript file and it will run the JavaScript. Okay? Now remember, when that particular JavaScript runs, it is going to run with everything that the browser has access to on Alice's computer. So the JavaScript can easily say, oh, let's check what is Alice's session cookie, and then send it to Bob, send it to Mallory's email, or some place that Mallory can actually get to. Yep, go ahead.
So what's the purpose of sending an email to Alice?
So Mallory is the one who sent the email to Alice.
Yeah, so what's the purpose of sending email to her instead of
to get her to click on that link.
It's just a mark.
Because the link needs to be clicked in order to become to do
to a
something
server
bad.
side, from a server side?
No, the link goes to Bob's website.
Okay.
Okay, so it doesn't look suspicious at all. And also, you remember Alice has to log in to Bob's website. So Alice already has a session cookie on Bob's website. Okay. The email contains a URL to Bob's website. Okay, and it includes the search word of puppies and then the malicious payload. After the puppies, right? So Bob's website will reflect back and say da 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 is not found. It will show the puppies is not found, but after puppies, it will also include the actual JavaScript to include a JS file from Mallory's website, which includes then all the nasty code to grab Alice's session ID or session cookies and send it to Mallory.
No, so
Okay.
my question is, what's the role of Alice when she click on a link?
What?
So what's the role of Alice when she get
What?
an email?
Sorry, I couldn't hear that word.
So what's the purpose of Alice? So when she click on a link,
Yeah.
so what's the role of her in this? She's a customer.
Yeah. Alice is one of the users of Bob's website.
She has login credentials that someone else wants
Gotcha.
without actually
Like making her credit cards on that website, whatever.
Yep. Well, it actually says right here what is going to be stolen. Okay, so it's going to load the JavaScript file called authstealer, that Mallory owns. Okay, but that script is going to run on Alice's computer. Sorry.
For
I said,
obfuscation.
that was a real inconspicuous title there.
Yes. So it will run in Alice's browser, okay, which already has the authentication token already, because she has to be signed in to see that, as if it is originating from Bob's website. So it grabs a copy of the authentication cookie and send it to Mallory's server when Mallory retrieves it. So there are many ways to make it available to Mallory. Okay, you can send it by email, you can make a post, you can form a get message, but to Mallory's website. Okay, so Mallory has been waiting for all this stuff to come back, with the authentication IDs. So he's going to grab the authentication cookie, plant it into his own browser. Okay, as if it were his own. Then he will go to Bob's website, and the browser would automatically send that cookie back to Bob's website because the path and the URL matches. Okay. So now Mallory is going to be able to log in, continue the session as if he is Alice. So the next paragraph, or the point number 7. So when he's in, he will go to the billing section of the website, look up Alice's credit card number, and so on and so forth, change the password and so on. Now, there are many things that won't actually happen with a proper website, so this is a scenario that can happen when the website is not doing everything correctly. Okay. So he decides to take a step further and sends a similarly crafted link to Bob himself and gain administrator privileges to Bob's website. So that's that can potentially happen, but that's assuming Bob is going to click on the link itself. So there are several things that will stop this. The search input could have been and should have been sanitized, so that the encoding checking, so they will include encoding checking, which means when it sees the open angle brackets and stuff like that, it will automatically filter that stuff out and go, nope, you can only have plain text with no punctuations. So that would take out any possibility because you just cannot do it. The web server could be set to redirect invalid requests. The web server could detect a simultaneous login and invalid sessions. I am not really sure about this one because I do work on different computers and sometimes I want both sessions to be going on at the same time, but probably not using the same session cookie. That's the thing. They should not be the same session cookie. The web server could detect a simultaneous login from 2 different IP addresses and invalidate the sessions. This is the one that I think is unreasonable. If they have different session cookies, I would say why not? I mean, that should be okay. The website could display only the last few digits of the credit card number, which is true on most websites now. If you go to American Express, they only display the last 4 digits. They don't show the entire credit card number. The website could display only, we just got that. The website could require users to enter the password again before changing the registration information.
That's a good one.
That's a good one, but there are much better ones too. Moodle, for instance, is a 2-step process. If you request to change your password, Moodle will send you a link. Well, this is back in the old days when Moodle is not a part of the district, But what happens is Moodle will send you a link to say, somebody requests a password change on your account. That person may or may not be you. If it was actually you, click here, and then you can go ahead and change the password. Because if the password is sent to the wrong address, then the person who receives it will never be able to change it. And the same thing applies to email.
Right.
Yep.
It's also right for phishing as well.
Is that also what?
Phishing?
Phishing.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a normal operation, and someone could blindly click a link thinking that was from the server.
Yep. And then the next one is the website could enact various aspects of the content security policy. User could be educated not to click benign looking the malicious links. Yeah, well, good luck with that one. Yes, that's all I'm gonna say. Good luck with that one.
So I guess these were ordered in likelihood. Being most
I
likely to
suppose.
least likely.
I don't know. I don't know how they order that.
Then there's most people who just look at the text part of the link and think that's the actual link.
Yeah, well, when you come over, where does it show up? Like in the small corner at the bottom. You're probably not looking over there anymore.
Like 1 point font.
Yeah, man.
And if you log it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so the previous attack is said to be a non-persistent attack because the link, the URL, is not actually on Bob's website. It's not stored on Bob's website. So here's a persistent attack. Mallory gets an account on Bob's website. He observed that Bob's website contains a stored XSS vulnerability. In terms of D2L and Moodle, it means you might have a problem with forums. When you post something, what you post can include a script. All right. So that's basically what an XSS vulnerability looks like on the server. Mallory reads an article in the news section and writes in the comment at the bottom of the comment section. News just like in the news forum in Moodle or D2L. In the comment, he inserts this text. In other words, he is putting this into the content of his reply using, actual HTML code encoding and entering and not using the HTML editor. Yes?
Now, on pretty much every forum that I have been on, they do some sanitation.
Oh yeah, they will
and
cleanse
they
it.
have like bulletin board codes where if you want to post something like HTML, then you'll need to put it between 2 markers.
Yep. So you would use they usually use a square bracket, URL and and then /1 after that one. It helps to a certain extent, but as long as it ends up being a URL, being a link, there's still nasty things that can happen.
Sure.
So when
So maybe URLs would have to go through like an authority that would check it over. And
yeah, it can only come from validated, end users, people who have been on for a long time, for
Sure.
instance, or they have registered, to the next level, like they have a verified address. So you might, separate users into multiple categories, like, guests, okay? You don't know who they are.
Sure.
Registered user who only give you the email address and the password. Can be anyone, okay? But you wouldn't let them do anything, okay? Everything is going to be cleansed. They cannot even include links in their posts. And then you have registered users that may have a verified address,
Sure.
or other people, people who vouch for these people, and you basically have a chain of these trusts. So you
Okay.
can't have multiple levels of users, and I participate in certain forums that are like that. They have multiple levels, and until you get to a certain number of posts and people actually trust you, you cannot post any links.
Sure. Okay. That's a good way to do it.
That's one way to do it. There are many ways to do it.
Because for moderating one of these people within, they use some pretty nifty tools to basically prevent this kind of shit.
Yep. But anyway, assuming this is not one of those websites where the content is cleansed before it is posted, then the worst part is when Alice or anyone else, okay, if depending on how many people frequent this particular website, it can be in the number of hundreds, thousands, or more. Think about eBay. Okay, you post an item to sell on eBay, and you just include one of these things, and the item is very attractive. Okay, it's something that everybody wants, for a very reasonable price.
Stack of cash.
I'll take the cards, only $50.
Or you're selling Costco gift cards at 50% of the actual face value, or something along that line.
Yeah.
Official Darth Vader helmet.
I would just 3D print one now. In fact, I would go to I'll go to ET, have them scan me first, and then go to Art New Media, or ET has the 3D printer. Art New Media has the scanner. So then they can customize a helmet just for me.
ET is engineering?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's electronic technology.
Okay. They have the 3D printer?
They have a
the
3D
scanners?
printer. Huh?
They have a 3D scanner, you said?
No, Art New Media has a 3D scanner. Yep.
I don't know.
I'm wondering what kind of printer they have.
No,
A person-sized one, obviously.
No, not the 3D printer, like a real printer.
Oh.
Because a super high resolution printer has different applications that the government doesn't want to know. Or they want to know, people don't want to know the government knows about that.
Well, maybe we really are selling a stack of cash. Who knows?
So Mallory can now hijack, and impersonate not only Alice, but many people. If you look up Moodle's, updates, and why it's getting updated, there are quite a few entries related to cross-site scripting. I'm not sure about D2L because D2L is not open source, so they are under no obligation to really disclose what type of bugs they're fixing every time they update it. But I'm suspecting there are quite a few like that too, because this is kind of tricky stuff. It really is potentially tricky.
On the other hand, D2L is pretty much only open to students.
Right.
So if somebody does an attack like this, it would be very easy to track somebody down, assuming that their information wasn't all bullshit.
That is true, but that's assuming that a student account is only used by that particular student, and no one is stolen that account. Yep.
Many of the time, people will just get up and leave the browsing session open at the computer for a given amount of time.
Oh, you mean in the library?
Well, anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, and radio. You walk in.
Like, I need a break, time out, and you just.
Well, I'm just looking right now, and the keyboard connection to those computers are way in the back, if someone installs a keylogger, who knows how many username and passwords you will collect each day?
None of them just
But doesn't
I mean,
once you log in and then put in a keylogger, once the person logs out, the keylogger goes away, doesn't it? Like
No,
once
we are talking
the-
about a hardware keylogger.
Oh.
It's a USB device that hooks up
Oh.
to the USB port, and then the other end hooks up to the keyboard. So it can log like we have
Every
Well,
keystroke.
of course,
Every key
I don't know
for
if
quite a
it's-
while.
I don't know if
You
it's
just
a
have to
word.
mine it for things that look like you didn't mess with, which they use.
I'm not sure if this is a word diversion, but
Gotta be followed by.
what is the mechanism that a keylogger works? Is it just recording?
Oh, it's just
the-
recording the
It's
keys
recording
from
the
the keyboard.
information that the
It's just
keyboard sends.
it's recording key codes and the timing. Okay, potentially the timing. I think timing is extremely important because then you can basically say, okay,
Where are your
okay, that's
groups?
your ID, that's your key, that's your password.
Yeah.
Instead of that's the content of the page that you type. Because remember, a keylogger does not know what the mouse is doing. So you can be clicking here, type something, clicking
Yeah,
over
that
there,
could
type
be some
something,
nonsense you
and it has
can
no
do.
idea.
So a
But once you-
keylogger is no good without
Well, no, it
some
is.
frame of reference of at least what
Time.
was running on.
That's what
It's still good. You can
But if
infer
it
a
start
lot
with a login
from-
ID,
from what-
for
what's
sure it's a
actually
password
there.
next.
But timing on it does help a lot.
Yeah.
So George, for example, you put a keylogger in, like on my computer. Now I go and type F, enter, and I'll give you 3 guesses of what it could possibly mean. Yeah.
It can be command on the command line.
It could be. I mean, it could be like you utilizing something.
Maybe.
Yeah, but when you
Let's-
read
I'll
what
give-
came before it and what
I'll
comes
give-
after
I'll
it,
give
it
you-
helps
I'll give you a
figure
hint.
what out.
Assume that I already have my browser open.
Oh, well then F is researching.
Fine.
Maybe.
Most
Control F
common
is
website
search.
Or the password of your password.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what F would do.
You
Going to
hit
Facebook?
Ah, there we go. Maybe I'm going to Facebook.
Nailed it.
Oh, because you put F and then enter, and you've been on Facebook so many times.
Yeah.
Autocomplete.
Right.
So then whatever group after that is probably name and password.
Username and
And
password.
sometimes it doubles up because they screwed it up. And so
No.
it'll be there and it's
Nothing.
one permutation of one of them.
The biggest problem with, from the hacker's perspective, the biggest problem of a hardware keylogger, or at least one of the conventional ones, is you have to go back and collect it.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's kind of a potential issue, because
When you're like, can I get that?
how come George always goes to that particular computer, and every single day he drops his pencil onto the floor and it rolls all the way in under the desk?
Make it wireless.
Because he's clumsy.
Exactly.
All you gotta be is in the same room, let it talk to
Make
you.
it Bluetooth. Yep.
Okay.
Now,
I saw there was a thing too, like
That was it. Yep.
there was a guy who
Now, actually, it's not just having like a Bluetooth keylogger, but I've also seen keyloggers that actually are wireless themselves. They're picking up the electromagnetic radiation from the keyboard. If you,
it seems like a very roundabout way of getting.
That's possible,
That
but
is
it's
possible,
not.
but on the other hand, you could just put it in the middle of a table somewhere and pick up a bunch of activity on the computers around it.
Well, and then the problem is differentiating between signals from different keyboards.
But if you know what
Maybe,
Yeah.
or maybe not.
Yeah, they do that.
Unless each one has got their own harmonic
They would
rate.
have an IP address.
So,
right?
question. Now,
No,
this is-
there's no IP address if you're just picking it off.
Professor
of-
Tech. So
Yeah.
since
You have a
this-
MAC address if it's talking
Inherently,
like
you also have to do
from a
ethics.
wireless keyboard.
just for learning purposes, how illegal would it be for me to just say hypothetically, toss a keylogger on one of these computers?
If
Just
it
to
is
collect
your own
information.
computer, I think you cannot break any law if it is your own computer.
Yeah.
And I would suggest, you guys as a club buy one of these days, do it on your own computer,
Yeah.
and then go back and check the log and see how much is collected.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think that's a
yeah.
good
The thing is,
idea.
George, technically, keyloggers do fall under the two-person consent law.
Yeah.
So I need another person's consent. to
It's
do
like
that.
the kind of
Well,
yeah,
you
you'd have to
are
have
the
a
other
consent.
person.
You'd have to have the
Right,
consent
like,
of the
you
person.
search this in Google, they're like, I got you.
You don't need a wireless just to run a software that just captures all the
Yeah.
things you type.
It doesn't have to be a dongle. There are software.
Just
Yeah, but then that means you
software-
gotta install software. I mean,
Well, then-
installing software is a much longer process than
What's your
plugging
point
in.
is-
Well,
it's
what's your
illegal if
goal?
you're
Do
actually
you want to
trying
see
to
how it
steal
works?
your-
Yeah, I
Or do you
wanna see
want
how it
something
works.
that you can plug into a school computer?
Well, no.
If you want to see how it works, software is enough.
Well, the problem with the digital keyloggers is they're much better than the hardware ones. You can see the screen. I've had one on a computer before. I'm not going to say why. And like it will take screenshots and like show you what people were looking at on your computer.
Oh, the
Yeah.
software, so
Yeah.
it'll record the keystrokes
But you have
and
to,
record the screen.
but you have to get it installed in the first
That's what I'm saying.
place.
That's harder than
Oh, if
plugging
it's on
in
the
something.
dongle like itself.
Yeah, you just plug that in
Install.
and walk away.
I think,
On a side note,
what a
on a
better
side-
alternative is if you actually have access to the hardware, then just take their Ethernet port cable, unplug it, plug something into that, and then plug it back in.
But then you won't work because HTTPS is end-to-end encryption. By the time it gets to the network port, it's already encrypted.
All you have to do is capture those and just send another fake one down the line, and just say that if you're a man in the middle, that should be easy to do.
No, browsers will stop that. Most proper browsers will stop man in the middle of
It
attack
just
because
does
you don't have a
actually
signed
do
certificate.
and screen watching.
It will
Oh.
find it. It will detect it right
It's-
away.
What you gotta do is remove all current browsers, install IE6.
Unless
And then it should work.
And then next thing helps.
Yeah,
Sure.
by then that's probably.
But the keylogger can be very nasty depending on whose computer is getting the keylogger. You know, so if the person who, where the keylogger is installed, has elevated privileges to the other servers, now we can do really kind
Now
of
you're
nasty
not doing
things.
damage and things.
Yep.
Man in the middle will work, but it'll have the certificate, the root authority certificate would have to be installed on a system that you're trying to intercept.
Right. So that requires multiple vectors, which is not as
Practical.
easy. Well, you can do it, but it needs a very orchestrated effort to do it.
Well, if you have access to a USB device, then if it's between the keyboard and the computer, you should be able to
Okay, here's-
send a series of hotkeys through to the machine.
If you want the most flexibility, the best way to do it is to take a picture of what kind of computer is installed here. Okay, go to eBay, go buy a case exactly like that. Okay, then you can include whatever you want in your own computer. You bring your computer here, swap out the one that is originally here.
Don't get caught leaving with the other.
Don't get caught bringing in your behemoth to try to switch out.
Put on an ARC t-shirt.
You
Surprised
don't,
how well that
Like
works.
you're not known around here.
Yeah.
Underneath, Darren walks in with an
Darren's
ARC
neck
t-shirt.
beard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're not going to get away with shit.
Look underneath the desk. You don't smuggle the computer out. You just shunt it off to the side.
There's plenty of them around.
Well, there are computers that are very small these days.
Stack your file
Tiny
back
little
there.
computers. Okay, let's look that up.
Oh yeah, I've
Like the
been
Pi.
looking at Raspberry
Right,
Pi
it's
shit all
like the Pi.
weekend.
Tech, are you suggesting we gut
There was a
it
guy
and put a
I saw
Raspberry
it
Pi?
took his cell phone attached
Remember
to
your
a
object-
Raspberry Pi,
It could
which
work.
ran a
It could work.
POS,
Oh.
which
I don't think he's
is point of
suggesting
sale.
you do
Yeah.
And you know those new
Like little
cards?
swiper
Yeah,
cards,
the
like
new
those
cards that you don't
squares.
have to swipe, but has a little card in it.
Okay, like
So all you gotta do is get
NFC,
close,
yeah.
and then just wander around on the subway,
Oh,
and just be charging people $20 just to walk by.
And there's even new.
Yeah, all
Okay.
you're doing is just walking by people charging.
That's an
money.
amazing computer.
This is not even small. This is not even small. In other words, you can take out all the ports of the back of a computer, have this thing snuck, all the way in, and reconnect everything to this box, which is your box, and nobody would know, unless they're really kind of more savvy.
Oh, so this ends up being the actual computer that's
This is
sitting
the
inside
actual
of
computer. The other one is
case.
just on the front.
This is the case.
Yeah, just the case, because they don't have any keyboard or mouse actually connected to the front USB ports. They're all connected to the back USB. So as long as the computer seems to be working, most people wouldn't say, hey, I don't need to sign in to the domain, stuff today.
Oh, wow.
Gives, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
most
lazy, I
actually
don't care. I got
most people
homework
are
to
like,
do.
oh, cool, thanks.
So this way you don't even have to swap out the big huge box because it's your little box that you're putting into the back. Forget about keylogger. This is your computer. Do whatever you want with it. I know that's
So
a good word for
do
it.
they have any kind of
You're
record,
very
like
careful
they
with the class.
like a check IP addresses?
They don't. I can sign in Linux, and I'm not hooked up to the authentication server.
How big is that?
This is not even small. I mean, this is actually kind of big already.
Wait, so now I don't know if I'm mixing up ideas, but so DNS, is it the same concept as cookies?
Pi 0. It's like
Huh? What?
Like the DNS server,
That's
like
called a
for,
core.
If you want
Yeah.
to have like
is it the same concept?
Yeah, the
as-
three's got Bluetooth and all that shit.
Bluetooth
now.
and like Wi-Fi.
Yeah, you can do all kinds of cool shit with a Pi.
It's as fast as Raspberry Pi.
Cool
2.
shit's an understatement.
It is.
Really?
You can do damn near anything that
But
takes
It
computational
doesn't
anything.
have like you have to solder in a computer. It doesn't
I've been trying to find ways
You just have
to put a
plug
Raspberry Pi in my banjo.
Video adapter.
You can do it,
Like
man.
the
Oh, well,
power
but what does it
and
do?
done.
solder.
So right now, like
solder.
No.
effects is a thing I can do with it, as well as a
A-
tuner, as well as a lighting
Raspberry
unit.
Pi connected banjo. When you walk into the room, it automatically Bluetooths to your amplifier, and then you're just good to go. Don't need to worry about it.
I don't know if you would
And
need
it's
the
got
whole.
control
I don't
lights.
think you would need the whole
Yeah.
Raspberry Pi to achieve that.
No. The Raspberry Pi does a whole bunch of different things.
Oh.
It'll do lighting. It'll do my tuner. It'll do my effects. It'll do. You
But-
have to do all.
But
can
one of
have-
the things it will
you can
also
run
do
a
is
microserver
automatically
on it.
set the mood lighting for your banjo.
Well, yeah, if I have it connect out and I put like another one that I can talk to that runs my house lighting.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. We're living in the future, man.
Yeah, I know, right?
So have you done any automation
We've
projects?
gone a long way since '82.
Have you done any like home automation projects?
Nope.
Yeah.
My house is so old tech if it's not hackable.
Well,
Well,
is that-
it's hackable with a chainsaw, but not electronically.
Is that a cognitive decision to like to prevent that, or
No, I just don't have time to do it.
It's because sometimes you just want a light switch to be a light switch, and you don't really care.
no? But you know how many times I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, I wish I could just talk or say
Well,
something.
if it's worth the
or
trouble, I
clap.
would
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, home automation is like, oh, it's cool, but
There's other things I can automate.
Yeah, why don't you just have a good habit of turning your lights off when you leave the room? Like, how hard
well,
is that?
tell my kids that.
Exactly.
Okay, well,
If the house does it on their own, it's not
But,
gonna give them any.
but they only get a
But you're not
9
concerned-
watt
gonna learn anything.
LED
You're not
light
worried
bulb.
about them learning.
So I
You're
calculated
concerned about your bill not being
with 9 watts,
that high.
Let alone
it
your
will
children
use
become
like what,
functional
less than
human
$1
beings.
worth of electricity, even if the light is never turned off the entire month.
wow,
It's less than $1.
that's amazing.
Huh?
Well, you can do the calculation. 9 watts. Okay, let's say it's 8. It's easier to calculate with 8. So let's say it's 8 watts. Okay.
Sure.
The light bulbs?
Yeah, light bulb.
Okay.
Yeah, because those are LED high efficiency
Yeah,
light
yeah.
bulbs. So with 8 watts, each day is 24 hours, right? So you have 8 times 24, which is what, 200?
8 times
Right.
20. Yeah, let's say that's
Yeah,
200.
20. Let's call
say
it
that's
200
watt
watt
hours.
hours.
Sure.
Okay, and you multiply that to 30 days in a month.
Sure.
So 200 times 30 is what, 6,000? So you have 6 kilowatt hour. Smart charger is about 12 cents per kilowatt hour.
Okay.
So you 6 divided by 1, so you're consuming 6 kilowatt hour of electricity. So 6 times 12 cents is 73 cents, less than $1. That's having that light bulb remain on the entire month. It's less than $1.
That's amazing.
I think Lauren's having a house in.
Yeah.
So tell me again,
Not filaments
how much is the automation stuff again?
Right?
And don't forget, it also siphons power too. That stuff it's not free. It has its own little power supply.
Yeah,
It leaks.
that's true.
Oh,
So
what,
if that thing is using
Any-
like
any
2 watts,
electronics
then
is plugged in,
your net gain is not that significant.
2 watts is nothing.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, I obviously like a project where all you want is your lights to be automated. Probably is not worth it unless you just want to go through the project of like
To learn, I think.
screwing some stuff into the wall and writing maybe like a few lines of
The
code.
thermostat, on the other hand,
But-
like heat and stuff like that, that's,
Yeah.
you can save money there.
I don't even want to install closed circuit camera anymore. Not even IP camera. Just have a drone to fly around, or have a rover to go around the house.
Yeah.
But
I didn't even think about
but
that.
I mean, but like,
Yeah,
but
that's a good idea.
But this closed circuit camera is like, I don't know. I feel those ones are a lot easier. I mean, not a lot harder, slightly harder to circumvent from say like a malicious person than
Roof bot.
Yeah, Roofbot.
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 Tied to
Roofbot
the
with
turret
an exactly. Yep.
He
with
said
an
exactly
airsoft
such a
with an
thing.
AEG hooked up to it. AEG hooked up to it, and then the CCTV get hooked up to the scope.
Pulse 240.
So now we
Yeah.
have pretty good
Underground
accuracy.
belts.
Yeah.
We can do laser too. We can do laser.
Well, that's just for a warning.
And that's supposed to be that sandwich.
Laser's just a warning.
Remember we're supposed to be making a sandwich product?
Three or
my
four
God.
dots converge on you. You make
Yeah.
decisions quickly.
The turret with the
Oh, yeah.
we call it sandwich because we were supposed to talk about.
That package in your hands better be for me.
I never really ended those conversations. That was Danny's thing.
No, I was pretty sure you were like, maybe you were.
Yeah, Roofbot.
Danny's the mad scientist type more than most people here. We need him back.
Danny transferring.
How dare you continue on with your education?
How dare he do his mad science somewhere else?
But I think the Roofbot is the way to go because it's not easily, accessible by someone who wants to steal your stuff, right?
Yeah,
Sure.
exactly.
And it's
Yeah.
also at a location where it can oversee stuff.
Yeah.
And if you make it mobile, it can be track based. It doesn't even have to be wheel based. It can be track based where you just lay out tracks, for the robot to go, in a certain fashion.
Now hacking, it just becomes a physics applied force problem.
Yeah.
You just need to shoot it off the roof.
Before it shoots you.
Yeah.
So now it's
From
But
a
no,
distance,
but-
covered
I
and
mean,
concealed.
but you look very suspicious as you did already showing up in your whatever ball of
Oh, no.
all
Covered
that.
and
But like
concealed.
shooting up at somebody's
And
roof or
concealed.
climbing up onto somebody's roof, that's gonna.
You can't shoot
draw
something on a roof without climbing up on it?
Well, you can't shoot something on a roof without looking suspicious.
Yeah, you can.
I'm just cleaning the gutter.
Yeah, like, depends on where you live. I mean,
Well,
I'm just cleaning the gutter.
You can do like in DC, and then you can hide in the trunk of your car, which has been hollowed
you
out
want
and
to
fired.
be DC stuff.
If I'm attacking Tack's house, I'm not gonna want to be seen coming.
Now, if you think about this, in San Francisco, this takes on a whole new dimension because in San Francisco, houses are very close to each other.
Yeah.
You can literally have someone, walking from one roof to the next and go for the entire block, which is a pretty
Sure.
long way.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, I can do that.
As long as they had a
My
grappling
neighborhood
hook.
over
But
there.
yeah, that's
Oh,
still.
you don't need
The
that.
apartment complex I lived down south, they would go along the roof and then they drop down onto your porch. And most people don't lock their sliding porch door, so then you just go in and you just break into their house. You don't have to go through the front door.
Oh man.
And,
And I
all
guess
then all you hear is that gathering gun spinning up.
Yeah.
It's probably
And then
it's
the
like
laser
it's
turns on.
just like in a video game. When you
turns
hear
on.
that noise, it's generally too late.
Yeah.
Because you don't know where the noise came from.
Yeah.
And by the time
Two
you just
lie
robots.
down.
You're just looking like
Just lie
Yeah, you
down.
lie down and
And
you do not
for
present yourself as a threat.
security cameras
True.
hooked up in.
And
I always
hopefully,
die though.
hopefully it's been
I
programmed.
won't
Just
accept
deactivated it immediately.
And then you have to copy that voice from Doctor Who. Do you guys watch Doctor Who? Remember Darling? Hey,
It was functional.
Or
in
Cyberman
the
delete.
thing that
Delete.
all-
Well, if you have surround sound and you have the speakers timed in a good way, you could actually have a really good resistance is futile. You could do it old school.
The old school tracking.
Well, no, I guess Exterminate's a little more old school than Star Trek is.
Oh,
Support
way.
actually didn't
Yeah.
show up until the what was it,
50s,
the
yeah.
1990s? Yeah.
Yeah,
Was there-
50s.
But I feel like maybe that's a little more recognizable than that.
Sorry?
You got derailed pretty hard. Is there more you were hoping to accomplish, or was that pretty much the?
That's the whole presentation.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like we definitely did.
But we
No,
kind of
it-
went off the tangent when we
Sure.
talked
I
about,
mean, the
you know.
tangent's
The-
fine. I just didn't want
yeah,
to
the
be
keylogger brought it.
intruding on the presentation.
Oh no
No,
that's
he's a
not-
professional. He wouldn't let us get derailed in the middle of a lecture.
Yeah, Professor Tack.
I derail myself.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. If most professors are trained on the rail, I'm more like a dune buggy.
Yeah.
Whee!
Yeah.
Cruising across a field of knowledge.
Yeah.
That's okay with me.
And a lot of us appreciate that. Though.
the tag, because where's the station?
How do I get on
Where
this
are we
bus?
going today? When are we going to take off? I don't know.
Exactly, folks. We're on a crazy train.
Don't worry.
There's no
Just
stop.
show
You just
up,
gotta
get on.
run
You
fast
just
enough to
jump.
jump on while it goes.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
How do I